Alrighty. Welcome back to Girlfriend Anime Review, episode number 16. Those of you curious about this little redness in my neck, I decided to shave because basically my I hadn't shaved in a few days. So if you're curious, and don't worry, it'll go away by tomorrow. So don't worry about it. It happens occasionally when I shave a little too close. It creates this little rash, but don't worry, it goes away. So don't be worried about it. It's perfectly fine. So, we're here discussing newest episode series, basically episode 23, Her Resolve Then. And the wiki site didn't provide me information what chapters they have from, so I look at myself. And it had from 82 to pretty much 85, all 4 chapters, the entirety of those chapters. And the first 5 pages of chapter 86. This whole arc wraps up with chapter 90. Yes, the Resolve arc. So, we pick a list of last episode where Shino is on top of, Mukai. Oh, by the way, the reason why that the dub was delayed a couple weeks, I didn't exactly know what the reason was, and then I remember on Twitter, Liz Maxim mentioned, the reason why the dub was delayed was because the cast was in Australia for a convention. Yes, that was seriously the reason why this was delayed a couple weeks, because they were in Australia. Yep. And by the way, Liz Maxwell did miss the previous episode. They had a fill-in for her, and she did on Twitter thank the fill-in, the person who filled in for her for the one episode because she was out of the country at the time, so they couldn't do the recording. So there's that. I'll talk about this when I see her, when I get a chance to see her again next week. Yeah, believe it or not, basically, Central Comic Con is coming up just next week. I'll get a chance to see her again, which is awesome. So, pick a left up last episode. Where Shino was on top of Mukai, where she kissed him and she's butt naked. Then when she gets up, she's covering her chest up because basically, in the case of Mukai, it's Noya. He's seen her butt naked before, so this is nothing really new. I do appreciate the anime. Yes, they do. In fact, go able to show her rear end, which okay, fine. I do not have an issue with this. This is perfectly fine. Now you might be curious though. Do they show her chest, fully her chest? Not really. They're very concerned about that. They basically have it covered. Now, my guess is, if you're curious though, is the anime at fault for showing this girl butt naked the way they do it? No, I don't blame the studio for this at all. They're just basically following the manga. I mean, they're not going to hide the fact this woman is butt naked. Unlike, let's say, A1 Pictures had to hide the fact that Urza was naked for 1 episode. Actually, 2 episodes she was naked. Because they stripped her butt naked when she was unconscious. No, they didn't rape her. This was a Tartarus arc. They just stripped her naked, though the anime changed to where she wears a shirt now. And 2 other characters who were stripped naked also in the arc, they kept their clothing. Here, she took them off herself. She's embarrassed by it, and of course, then she, is hiding, and then look like she's about to tell him that she's in love with him. And then she collapses. And then Noya just stays by her side the whole night. And apparently took the time off screen to put her swimsuit back on. Yeah, this is something basically that... Now, in case you're curious though, was there a cutscene from the manga where, we have Noya put her clothes back on? No. Not necessarily. This is another instance where, following the manga, here she is dressed, and here's the thing though. She does not question the fact that, her swimsuit's back on. Yeah, the same swimsuit she took off in the previous episode. Yes. So, she's up from heat stroke because, of course, Noya does not know what to do, so basically he picks her up, puts her on his shoulder, and swims to the shore. And of course, you actually have Saki and Minasa, where they're basically looking for him the whole episode, and Rika. And eventually, they went up on shore. Saki reunites with him, and like very happy to see him. Of course, she puts her head on her lap, and then she proceeds to make out with him as soon like gnawing afterwards. It's like, wow, Noya, you lucky dog. You got two beautiful babes making out with you in 2 straight episodes. Damn. Yeah, there's actually one left. Of course, Saki is the third of the 4 girls to kiss him in the series. The other one who technically hasn't kissed him list yet is Misa. She's the only one who hasn't yet. First it was Rika, and then it was Shino, which is not exactly pre-planned. It just happened to happen that way. Now it's Saki, which this is something she said she was going to do when this little mini arc started. And she fulfilled her promise. And then they woke up later on where they're changed, and you have Shino in bed, and she's fully clothed, by the way. And apparently they fully recovered from their little heat stroke incident, and like everybody's happy. Then we have a slight change from the manga, where they changed Saki's hair. Yes, we actually have an actual change here. Because the way they have it in the manga, it's a little more looser than it was. It's like full-blown loose in the manga. In the anime, it's still like partially tied up like normally is when she's basically like out when you normally see her in the series. Yes, this is a small change. Doesn't affect the scene at all. Is it distracting? No, not necessarily. It just like, my guess is they must have realized, hey, we're going to change something here. Let's change this. I guess they must have asked the creator about it. Excuse me. They must have asked the creator about this particular scene. About Saki's hair. And they said, like, hey, can we change her hair a bit so she looks like normal? The way we've been showing her hair in the anime. And I'm sure the creator was like, sure, no problem. That's okay, as long as it doesn't affect the scene at all. And it doesn't. It does not affect the scene at all. Basically, Shino thanks him basically for all the stuff happened. And then she does something that she's going to transfer schools. Because she's in love with Noya. And of course, Saki, being upset with this, proceeds to try to squeeze her one of her boobs. Yes, I am not kidding about that. Because she's very, very angry. And calling her toddler insults. Doesn't call her a bimbo per se. Doesn't call her call her a slut. Nope, does not call her that at all. She calls her a moron. Calls her stupid. And they even pull each other's cheeks. And like very serious. And then of course they rush down. Of course, Noya tries to stop her, and eventually the episode ends with the reason why that Shino, of course, Rika knows the reason why she's doing this, because she's in love with basically her best friend's boyfriend. And basically where the scene ends, that's the 5th page of chapter 86 in the manga. Yep, so next week will be the conclusion of the season, and my guess is the conclusion of this very arc, getting to chapter 90. Now, here's the strange thing though. When this season started, I had no idea that the manga concluded. I had no idea about that. When I first read it, I was basically reading it up until the most recent chapter that came out at the time. I think it was like a chapter like 144, I think it was. Yeah, and the manga is over, which is shocking to say the least. I initially didn't know that the manga had just ended. Yeah, I honestly just did not know that, so it's a bit surprising, the fact that the manga ended. Yeah, I just didn't know that, so yeah, if you're really curious though, the manga ended just last year, and just before the start of this very season. Yep. Ended in May of last year. And this season only started in October of last year. Yep. Now, do I think that we might get a second season? I hope so. There's nothing that says basically that they can't do a second season. And if you're really curious, what was the final chapter in the manga? The final chapter released for the manga, actually it was 144. Yeah, that was the final chapter. Rich, really? Yes, really. Actually, it was more like I think 120 something. I think it was like 120 something. I think it was. That's left off with. I didn't realize it ended like not long after that. So, if let's say with this episode they got by the end of the season, there's not much left. I mean, you could do like based upon how much chapters left to go. I mean, they're up to chapter 86, like 144. Like, so the answer is this: like, at this point in the series, like, how much is left to go to be done for the manga? The answer is 59 chapters. Excuse me, yes. Yeah, 59 chapters left to go at this point. How many do I think we'll have by the end of the season? Not sure. If I would take a guess, it probably would be, I'd say probably below 50 chapters left. Yes. Does that mean we might get season 2 out of it? It's possible. But there's nothing that says you can't have a season 2. Yeah, that's the thing. There's nothing that says you can't have a season 2 for this show. Yeah, there's nothing that says you can't have one. It just, I don't really get of exactly why that we can't have a season 2. I have no idea. Not season 2, season 3, excuse me, because we're on season 3 right now. Well, I'll talk more about this next week. And sadly put, I'm going to have to end it here because basically I have to get up kind of early for church tomorrow because, well, I got to get up at 7 because I have to be at church at 8:30. Okay, next video tomorrow.